show today. You're not going to want to miss 1 second of today's program, I promise you. All right? I'm going to start with this Anderson Cooper story. This is beautiful. Anderson Cooper should be fired by CNN on the spot today. He should just be fired. They should fire him very publicly in a tweet or something. So we're going to get into that. This town hall with Trump has just caused this amazing meltdown of the left. All right, here we go.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, it sure is. Friday morning, everyone, May 12th, 2023. I still cannot get used to saying 2023. It just seems like yesterday we were doing shows on Y2K. Anyone remember that? Oh my goodness. We used to have guests in studio about Y2K. All right, guys, there is a lot to talk about today, and I'm going to cover a lot of stories. It's also open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. Anything and everything you have on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. You are not limited to the topics that we bring up on the program, all right? And our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Now, I'm going to start, though, talking about the fallout from the CNN town hall meeting. You know, CNN's audience during the Trump town hall meeting was 5 times their normal audience. What does that tell you? That tells you how popular President Trump is. President Trump is more popular than I think anyone realizes, because even though he's in a double-digit lead in every poll, including the latest poll, they have a poll in Florida where he's, of course, double-digit lead against DeSantis, which is really devastating since Ron DeSantis just won re-election as our governor in the state of Florida. So, yeah, I know, right? Isn't that amazing? He cannot even win Florida, Governor DeSantis. Well, you know, enjoy being governor, Ron DeSantis. It's the last elected office you'll ever hold. You're unelectable forever because of your betrayal of the president and of, well, Floridians who supported you. But anyway, this meltdown from the CNN town hall continues. And Anderson Cooper did something on the air last night which should result in his immediate firing. And I mean a high-profile firing. He needs to go. What he did on CNN is so far over the line. I'm going to play it for you. Have you heard this yet, guys? Oh, my goodness. Turn your radios up really loud for this one, because this is louder than you normally would have. Whatever you're listening to, if you're listening to us on Alexa or Google or iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening, turn the volume up loud, because this is beautiful. So let me just play it, and then I'm going to play this uninterrupted, and then we'll talk about it. This is Anderson Cooper last night, live on CNN, to his CNN audience, apologizing for having President Trump on, but then he tells CNN viewers to do the unthinkable. Listen to this, Anderson Cooper.
Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions, and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact check him, it is impossible to fact check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
Okay, so that's Anderson Cooper live on CNN last night telling viewers not to watch CNN, and he would understand if you never watch CNN again. I have never heard a broadcaster do something like that before, ever. Don't watch this network ever again, and I'll understand if you don't. He should be fired on the spot. I don't care if his mother is Gloria Vanderbilt and dated Howard Hughes, and he's CIA, and he's one of those old Vanderbilt blue bloods and all that. Fire Anderson Cooper. Oh, my goodness. I've never heard of such a thing. You know, this is really an amazing thing. So during the Trump town hall, a few things about this, and I'll go through this slower later on in the program, okay? But they had 5 times the viewers during the Trump town hall than a normal primetime night. 5 times. And, a lot of MAGA people didn't watch it because they didn't want to give CNN the ratings. Could you imagine if all the MAGA people watch? Oh, my goodness. But even though they were number 1 in primetime by far, and could you imagine, you know what Americans love more than anything? A rematch. Could you imagine the rematch between Caitlin Collins and Trump? Oh, my goodness. What would the viewership be for that? It'd probably be even greater than the first round that they had with each other. But Anderson Cooper would rather be 3rd in the ratings and fall off the cliff of a ratings abyss than have MAGA people watch their content. That's crazy. I want everyone to listen to our radio stations. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what your opinions are. I don't care what you wear. I don't care how poor you are, rich you are. I don't care. I want everyone to listen. Isn't that, don't you? And, I know, I was talking about this the other day. Anytime Steve and I do an appearance, there's at least one person, it's usually more than one, but at least one, who says, I used to be a liberal, I used to be a Democrat until I listened to you for 5 years, 15 years, a year, 6 months, some even longer, because this is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. And you want everyone to listen. Everyone. That's right. Yeah. I've never heard someone do that before. They want to preach to a very tiny little, and they call us a cult. They want to have a little cult following of Trump derangement sufferers over at CNN watching their content. They don't want to grow. They don't want people, even people that have no input because they're just watching on their television, they don't even want people to watch them on, they don't even want their eyeballs on the screen when they're on the air if they're MAGA. This is insane. And furthermore, I would say that Anderson Cooper is mentally unstable, but he's not the only one. Wait until you hear what I have after the break. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. It is open phones, but after the break, I want to finish up with this, and then I'm going to go to the phones at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
All right, now listen, guys. I put a link that I pinned to the chat. One of our YouTube very regular chatters. I'm not going to call them out unless they want to identify themselves, but they've fallen on some difficulty, some hard times, and they put together it's not a GoFundMe. They put together a crowdfunding on another platform. They put together a crowdfunding campaign asking for help and support, and if you click that link, you can read all about it. And if you can, please help. If you can't, that's okay. You're not obligated to. But if you can, please help. And it's someone that is in our chat room each and every day. But they have, like a lot of people, they have a name, in the chat that's not their real name, which is cool. So the link is right there. So if you can help, please do. My wife and I, we donated last night. Oh, man. Have you ever heard someone that's on television or radio say, do not watch me, and mean it? And mean it. I mean, he means it. If you're MAGA, I don't care if we're 5 times the ratings. I don't want your eyeballs on the screens of CNN. That's insane. That is. Now, let me ask you this, yes or no? Is Anderson Cooper mentally stable, yes or no? To talk that way. Yes or no? Is he mentally stable? Mm-mm. No way. That's insane. Could you imagine if I went on the air and said, don't listen to us if you don't agree? That's insane. We don't even want you to hear. We don't even want you to hear. That's crazy. Some of our biggest fans and supporters hate us. Hate the show, hate me, hate Steve. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah, I have a couple orange shirts. This is my favorite one. I like this. This is a Florida shirt I'm wearing. I have these bright shirts for when I'm on the scooter. When I'm on the MAGA scooter 2.0, I want people to see me. So I wear bright shirts and I got a bright red scooter, You want to stand out on the road. But it's hot. It's hot in Florida. Oh my goodness, it's so hot right now.
Anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show on the radio for 46 years. That's amazing. 46 years. A lot of people claim to be the #1 longest running show. I've heard say the longest running show hosted by a Hispanic female. The longest running show hosted by a gay. No, this is we don't have any additions. We don't have any other labels. This is the longest running radio show, period, in the state of Florida. And I've had people challenge that. I've had general managers and sales managers from radio stations all over the state of Florida reach out to me and say, that's not true. We have the longest running show. And I'm like, oh, really? When did that show start? 1988. Nah, got you beat by 9 years. Sorry. Got to change your sales presentation up there. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, from all over the state. So welcome back, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. This is amazing. So Anderson Cooper said, if you don't agree with CNN and you're MAGA, they don't even want your eyes on the TV screen when they're on. Could you imagine if I came back from the break, and he means it, he's not joking, he's not being sarcastic, and I said, if you do not agree with me, turn off the station. I don't even want your ears to hear what I'm saying unless you agree. That's crazy. A couple weeks ago, I was over at Friendly Tire in Margate, and I told this on the air. When I go to Friendly Tire in Margate, I run into listeners there all the time, and a lot of times listeners, they'll just stare at me, and I'm supposed to know them and go talk to them. So if I don't know you, you know me, so I just can't go up to some stranger because they looked at me and introduced myself. They may not be a listener, and they'll think I'm nuts. But this one guy was looking at me pretty hard, and it was so weird. It was really uncomfortable. He was just staring at me, and he had a look on his face. And Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, he says, oh, yeah, he's a listener, and he hates you, and he hates Steve. I said, yeah, but he's getting 4 new tires on his car, right? Isn't he? He's like, yeah, he's getting 4 new tires. And Yeah, that's right. You know, I was at. Steve was telling me this was a beaut. This was a beaut. There was a listener that hates Steve and me like the plague. They were at one of our restaurant sponsors, and they were telling the owner how much they hate Steve and how much they hate me and how much they hate the show. And by the way, they had their whole family there, all of them with food in their mouth from the restaurant we recommended they go to, as they're telling us how much they hate it. Yeah, exactly. You know, so some of our biggest fans and supporters hate us, or at least think they do. And yeah, I know, isn't that crazy? It's a crazy thing. So what Anderson Cooper is talking about is insane. I would argue that he is mentally unstable and unfit to be on the air. But there's someone that's more unstable than him. From the Lincoln Project, Rick Wilson. I had this yesterday, and I just didn't get to it because we had, you know, there was a lot of calls, a lot was going on. Now, I put these bleeps in, and it took... Rick Wilson is the guy from the Lincoln Project, and during a commercial from the town, they took that first commercial at the CNN town hall with the president. He made a video and posted it online doing a rant filled with F-bombs. Now, I bleeped them all out. There's some S-bombs too, but Mike, keep close in case I missed one. Keep your finger near the dump button, just in case I missed one. I don't think I did, but we just want to be extra careful. So this was actually during the CNN town hall. Rick Wilson makes Anderson Cooper sound sane and lucid. So this was just after that first segment. They cut the commercial, and Rick Wilson just had a meltdown and made this video and posted it on the Twitter. Listen to this.
We're in a break now from the presidential town hall with CNN, Caitlin Collins, and whatever they thought they were going to get out of this, they instead have set a match to democracy once again. You are letting an insane person stand there and make people giggle and laugh when he jokes about rape. You make people giggle and laugh when he jokes about abortion, when he calls an African-American police officer a thug. This insanity should be pulled off the air. Chris Licht, you should be ashamed of yourself. This is astoundingly bad for the brand of CNN. It's astoundingly bad for the country. And it's astoundingly bad, honestly, folks, for every other Republican candidate in the primaries. Wrap that up. It's done. You saw this tonight. You know you can't beat him on the stage. Everybody else, oars up. Time to go to work because he's going to be the nominee. This is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It is a disaster of the highest degree.
All right, that's the head of the Lincoln Project, Rick Wilson. By the way, that guy's a Republican, right? Oh, my goodness. One of those rats, Republicans against Trump. So the meltdowns are happening. All right, let's go to the phones. Our number, 1-888-GO, Kane 1. Don't you love Trump even more, if that's even possible? Can you love Trump more than you did? It's hard to imagine, but this is awesome. You're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, Brian, Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, that Caitlin Connors just graduated from the University of Alabama, had no experience. They put her on...
None of that's true. None of that's true, Jeff. She may have gone to the University of Alabama. No, she graduated years ago. She actually used to work at the Daily Caller, which is conservative, and then she found her way at CNN, and she was the number 2 White House correspondent when Acosta was, when Trump was in office.
Daily Caller was her first job after graduating, and this was more or less her second job.
Yeah, but she's been at CNN for a few years. She's been at CNN for a few years.
But my point is, she's pretty inexperienced.
Oh, yes.
To put her in that spot, Brian, I believe they did it on purpose so that they knew that Trump would go off on her and humiliate her and use it. And you remember how Bill O'Reilly had the no-spin zone? CNN only has the spin zone. Everything they do, they use it to spin. And they're trying to use...
I mean, you know, I remember when Trump ran, how many times has CNN had David Duke was a grand wizard of the KKK. How many times have they had David Duke on their air on CNN over the years? I don't ever recall them going on the air and apologizing for having David Duke of the Ku Klux Klan on CNN.
And they try to accuse Trump of speaking once to him or something and blew it way out of proportion.
Oh, please.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that? They blew that.
You know, I remember a lot of people forget about this. Tim McVeigh, who blew up the Oklahoma City Governmental Center, he was on television all the time doing interviews, including CNN. And what about Charles Manson? You know, Charles Manson used to do a lot of interviews that I don't ever remember them. What about when they had O.J. Simpson on? Greta Van Susteren had the first interview with O.J. on CNN after he got away with murdering 2 people. They've had Robert Blake after he got away with killing his wife. They had him on for a full hour in studio law. You know, they've had killers, rapists, murderers, and terrorists. They've interviewed terrorists. How many times did they go and interview Fidel Castro or Saddam Hussein? Did they ever air an interview with Bin Laden on CNN? I don't ever remember them apologizing for having Bin Laden on. Or Chavez. I mean, this is crazy, Jeff.
And you know what else? Your wife just made a great point. How many times did they make CNN make Trump out to be a monster, but they brought him on their show?
Exactly.
Good point by Kathy.
Yes.
They thought this blew up in their face, it backfired, and everything they do against Trump ends up the same way, making them have egg on their face, and it's hilarious.
Oh, I love it.
Should be fired. That should be fired.
I mean, if I went on the air and started telling people not to listen to the radio and go listen to other radio stations, I mean, I can't even fathom that. But I just imagine management would say, hey, Brian, you know, you can't do, you know, and here you got Anderson Cooper, who went on this, there's no way he had approval from management before he went on the air with that. No way. Jeff, I got to run for our bottom of the hour break, but good call. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Oh, my goodness. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, people. Absolutely. Thanks, Dan. Oh, yeah, that's hardcore destruct mode, self-destruct. I mean, that's just insanity. Complete insanity. I have never heard nor seen of something like that before. I mean, who are some of the terrible guests? Let me see.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1, Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio.
Let me see. Over the years, who have they had on? Can you think of any?
PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
I mean, they've had some of the worst killers and dictators of the last however long, 40 years they've been on. So over the last 40 years, how many killers, dictators, terrorists, and others has CNN put on their air? Have they ever apologized before? Try to think about that. Give me a list of some of the worst killers and dictators that they've had on the air. Pat Buchanan had a show. Yeah, they say he's a Nazi. It's beautiful.
Jimmy is the last comic standing finalist, actor, and comedian that you absolutely need to see live. This Sunday, treat mom to a special day in the paddock for a delicious Mother's
Oh, it's beautiful.
buffet, live music, and Hoffman's treats for mom. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Making any health and lifestyle changes can feel overwhelming, and at One Life Health and Performance, we don't want you to have to do it alone. Our dedicated team of medical professionals, including our physician, Ken Menard, certified health coaches, medical estheticians, and patient care coordinators. At One Life
I know, it's beautiful. This Trump derangement syndrome is insane.
Brian Craig here. Are you looking for a reliable scooter sales and repair shop? Look no further than Anything Scooters. When my scooter broke down, Anything Scooters took care of everything for me. It had me back out on the road in no time. At a great price, too. They have a huge inventory of
Well, he hadn't done crime then. I'm talking about somebody that was a known killer like OJ and Robert Blake and these terrorists and Castro. These types of people were already major criminals and murderers. And they had them on their air and they never apologized.
even high-performance modifications. At Anything Scooters, they use only top-quality oils and replacement parts to ensure that your scooter runs like it should. They're very friendly and they have great customer service. Visit anythingscooters.com or give them a call directly. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710. 954-226-8710. Online, anythingscooters.com. Experience awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on the Rocky Mountaineer Train with bi-level glass dome coaches, August 15th through the 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs on the historic rail route connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to briantrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's briantrain.com and request your brochure.
No, I don't just mean a list of people. I'm talking about people that they had on that had been murderers, like the terrorists they've had on. The jailhouse interviews they've done. Come on. I guess Gloria Vanderbilt genes are the gay. That's the gay gene. I thought the gay gene was Jordache, but I guess it's the Gloria Vanderbilt genes. I could be wrong.
I've been telling you about how my chiropractor, Dr. Philip
What do you guys think? I don't know.
From a knee injury and arthritis pain with his laser away pain treatment.
Yes, she does. Thanks, Lisa.
This is one of our callers who called me live on the radio.
Kathy loves travel mugs. Yeah, she loves it.
Dr. Philip Appleton helped him with his laser away pain treatment.
You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, don't worry. I'll recap everything.
I want to thank you guys once again. I've listened to this show since the mid-'80s. Thank you for introducing me to Dr. Appleton, Brian and Steve. I went in there last week. I had a knee problem. One session, I feel so much better. I brought my mother there yesterday. She has a problem with her right side or her arm. She's right-handed. She feels better. It's amazing. And for people out there that are dealing with pain, believe me, there is an alternative. Go in there for the free consultation. FRE free. You will lose. The only thing you'll lose is the pain that you're dealing with. Do not suffer. Go in there to see Dr. Appleton.
Make sure you guys like the video. That helps grow the channel, guys. So please like the video and make sure you are subscribed. Click that notification bell. You'll catch my weekend live streams.
Monday through Saturday, appointments not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome. 954-973-0710.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right. Yes, we are back. I'm Brian. So Anderson Cooper has told CNN viewers not to watch unless you agree with them. I'll play that again coming up. It's insane. Rick Wilson, the head of the Lincoln Project, had a meltdown. And then over on the Coven of the View, Joy Behar. This is Joy Behar yesterday after the town hall.
I saw a bad stand-up comedian with a bunch of people in his cult who love him. And that is not American as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, to love Trump is not American. We're supposed to love who we're told to love by CNN. if you support someone the media tells you not to support, you're not American. That sounds like a free country there, Joy Behar. You're on the air. What's your name?
Good morning, it's Joe from Palm City.
Hey, Joe.
You know what, you're right. Anderson Cooper is so stupid and so arrogant that, number one, how could he go out there and just say, hey, don't watch our channel no more? So, that's stupid enough.
Unless you agree with us. We don't even want your eyes on your TV screen with us on it. If you're MAGA, we don't even want to be on in your home. That's insanity.
But he's so arrogant for the fact that if CNN were to close up shop, yeah, he could go on as a Vanderbilt and live, a very comfortable life. But what about the people behind the scenes, people that work in the mailroom, people in this? If CNN closed up, their way of life will come to a stop, and he doesn't give a damn one way or the other.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do you think he went rogue on that? Do you think management signed off on that?
I can't believe that they would. No, the head of CNN would not encourage one of their employees to go in and say, hey, don't watch us no more. I can't see that. Maybe something will come of that today. I don't know, but I would think if they were trying to do the right thing and regain their market share that they lost.
I have seen people do things on the air that are bizarre before, but I've never seen that, and that is so over the line of unprofessionalism. I would fire him on the spot. I don't care who he is. I don't care if he's got the blue blood thing going on. I'd fire him on the spot. By the way, CNN announced that Caitlin Collins will be taking over the 9 p.m. primetime slot weeknights. They promoted her after that. They promoted her.
Well, that's all well and good, but nobody will be watching it, so it really doesn't.
Maybe that's why I'm in Florida. Maybe I'm just too competent. Maybe I need to be incompetent. Talk about white privilege. You want to talk about white privilege? Caitlin Collins had the biggest failure in the history of live television, greater than Geraldo with the Al Capone vault, and they promoted her. And that's not just a time slot promotion. That's a big salary increase because she's going prime time now. How do you fail like that and get a major promotion?
It just shows you how backwards their thinking is and how so against Trump that they are. But I appreciate the time. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
I'm looking at John Malone, who bought Warner Brothers, Discovery, and he came in there and put in this guy, David Zaslav, as the CEO. What probably should have happened from jump was Malone and Zaslav probably should have fired everybody, because if you're now getting people, you're trying to change the culture. If what this article says is true, they're trying to change the culture of CNN, and you're getting here they had the ratings during the Trump town hall were 5 times their normal ratings. Well, 3.3 million watched. There's the number one name in cable news, Fox, is not number one anymore. They failed, and CNN would rather be in third place than have people watching them that like Trump. I think somebody that does that on the air in prime time is mentally unstable. What do you think? I think so too. This guy is mentally unstable. I mean, obviously he thinks he's unfireable. Obviously,
because he's a blue blood and a Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, but if what this guy says is true, he's probably gonna end up getting fired because the guy wants this guy that just bought him wants.
Well, the people that bought CNN want viewers. Yeah, they don't want people leaving. Fox News, CNN was number one for decades, and then Fox News came along and took that away from them. They have a chance to get it back. They've gotten it back in many time slots because of the firing of Tucker on Fox News. And Anderson Cooper says, we don't want me. Now we want to be in last place with honor. That's insanity.
I mean,
Can you think of any other place in cable news that had somebody say something like that?
No, I mean, look what happened. So last night, Anderson Cooper says, don't watch CNN unless you agree with us. And then he also says people that do agree with them, if you don't want to watch again, I understand, so don't watch anymore. I can understand. That's crazy. And then Caitlin Collins, who had the biggest failure in the history of news live in front of the nation, they promote her and give her a primetime show of her own. This is crazy town over there at CNN.
Democrats tend to fail upwards. Success with Democrats is a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, if I were running CNN, I would schedule a rematch town hall meeting between Caitlin Collins and President Trump. Everybody would watch that. It would have higher ratings than the first one. And I would tell Caitlin Collins, you're doing it or you're fired with Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, and make sure that she will be prepared this time.
She can never be prepared. No. She's a liberal. She can never be prepared.
No, and that's the thing. This is going to kill. Oh, we're going to try and get these ratings back and get on top of Fox. And how do you do this with Caitlin Collins and this guy saying what he's
don't watch, saying don't watch. Can you imagine? All right, hey, take care. Now, for those I played this right at the top, but I believe it or not, there are people that don't set their alarm. I recommend people set their alarm at least 5 minutes before 6, so you're up, you got the coffee going. But, you should just keep our radio stations on 24 hours a day, then you'll never miss anything. But I played this at the top of the hour, but I want to play it again. This is Anderson Cooper last night telling people to not watch CNN. Listen to this.
Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according...
I like how all of a sudden Anderson Cooper has respect for church-going Americans, and he's disappointed that they haven't lived up to their Christian faith. In his opinion,
a jury of his peers, he's sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact-check him, it is impossible to fact-check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president.
That's right.
And according to polling, no other Republican is even close.
That's right.
That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
All right, that candidate, the presidential candidate whose name shall not be mentioned, like he's, Harry Potter here. Well, he wears Harry Potter glasses, Anderson Cooper. Notice how he also has respect for the police. You can't call the police thugs. Police are just doing their job. Really, does that go for Derek Chauvin? What about the police officers in the Rodney King incident? Is it okay to call them thugs, Anderson Cooper? Or is it only, do you only have respect for police officers that shoot unarmed veterans of the United States military. I don't know. I'm a little confused, Anderson Cooper. All right, we'll be right back.
A cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Have you tried the Bloomers CBD drinks yet?
I have not tried those yet.
Okay, so I got them last night. I got margarita. I had that. I didn't mix any tequila in it. I was good last night. But I slept like a dream and I felt great this morning. Like I had no joint inflammation, nothing. And they have Bloody Mary, Pina Colada, Strawberry Daiquiri, Margarita, and Froze. And I think you can buy them on their website, bloomersfroze.com. And I think Froze is Frose. They're sold in a lot of the liquor stores in town that carry CBD products.
Insane. In one word, describe Anderson Cooper's little rant there about not watching CNN.
With fruit juices, they were vegan, they were gluten-free.
I mean, that's insane.
We can use CBD legally?
Yeah, CBD is legal under the Farm Act, and it's sold everywhere. For everybody who's taking a gummy, take a drink.
You know what? This sounds perfect for me. I'm going to bloomersfroze.com. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof
Crazy.
you need. If you have
Crazy.
call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't
Yeah, they're apologizing for being number one.
or a lawyer.
Can you believe?
Any type of roofing job too. Residential
Yes, he is.
repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportacontracting.com.
Mm.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great...
Oh, no, they did. Management did not write what Anderson Cooper said. Anderson Cooper did that on his own. Management would never say, go on the air and tell people not to watch us ever again. That's insanity.
My number is 954...
Insanity.
9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Experience awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on the Rocky Mountaineer Train with bi-level glass dome coaches, August 15th through the 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs on the historic rail route connecting Canada.
No way management signed off on that.
Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to briantrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's briantrain.com and request your brochure.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Yes, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing? This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, how you doing? Please do not get yourself upset about CNN. Please don't. Don't even sweat them. I have a message for CNN. CNN is sick. They are sick. They're out of touch. They mad because they can't get the American people to turn against Donald Trump. This man has 74 million of America.
Yes.
voted for him.
Yeah. And his support is growing every day.
Exactly. They cannot touch him. He's untouchable, and not only untouchable because the lies is.
And the Trump derangement syndrome it's stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, I think stage 4 is the highest a medical condition can go, but I don't think it can. I don't think there's a stage 5. It's like with our hurricanes here in Florida. No matter how strong the winds are, you can't be stronger than a Cat 5. You know, but they are Trump derangement to infinity over there. To go on the air in prime time on your television network and say, "Do not watch us, and we'll understand if you don't," right? That's crazed. He's mentally deranged. You cannot put someone on the air who tells the viewers that, and not in a joking way. You know, not in a very serious way, especially right now with the collapse of Fox News. You know, if this were before the Tucker firing, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But there are millions of television cable news watchers looking for a new home because they're never going to go back to Fox. The Fox boycott is going strong, and CNN has a chance to pick up a whole chunk of them, and Anderson Cooper says, "We don't want you." He would have been fired last night. I would have fired him during the show. Not only would I have fired him during the show, he would not have even completed the show. He would have left the studio during a commercial. We would have come back with an empty chair for the rest of the hour. I would not have. That would be it.
And you know, and another thing, it really shows the lies about January the 6th. So Ashley Babbitt for no reason.
Unarmed woman. In fact, some footage came out. They don't show this too much. By the way, that the footage of Ashley Babbitt being killed was taken by that BLMer wearing MAGA gear who was working for the media. Remember, they paid him to be in there. And there's some footage right before that incident of her in that little area where she was trying to stop people from going through the door and the window. She went up to Capitol Police officers, asked them to intervene, and they said no. That was seconds before she was shot dead. So, you know, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you're not allowed to call someone a thug because they're black, no matter what? That's crazy.
If you're a murderer, you're a murderer, and he's a murderer. And I'm saying it. He's a murderer. You don't kill an innocent person. You don't kill a person with no weapon. You don't kill a person unless you address the issue and find out what the deal is. They didn't do that. They killed the woman, and that was their plan. And it was many more Trump supporters was killed in there. They liars and everybody.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Maria from Florida, take care. Thanks for the call. Now, it is open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. You can call in about anything and everything you have on your mind, not just the topics that we bring up here, although I do have a lot to bring up. And our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-465-2631, 1-888-465-2631. I want to tell people about the great offer from Sloman's, the free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is back. You know, this is something great to get as a gift for your family. Not just yourself, your family. And, you know, your extended family. This is a great thing to get for your daughters that have moved out of the house. And that's right, you can get a free doorbell camera if you're one of the first 40 listeners to call 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. If you're one of the first 40 listeners, you'll get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. You'll be able to see your home no matter where you are, right there on your phone. And that's not all. Sloman's is going to give you a customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 listeners to dial 1-833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. So call them now. This is a limited time offer. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Al from Classic, West Florida.
All right, Alan, West Palm. What's up?
I just was wondering about, you know, all these illegal aliens coming through down in the border there that I don't understand how we've got a lot of Republican states out there that each and everybody just doesn't send their National Guards to help out Texas down there to kind of stop this influx coming in there. I mean, it's just like, we've got a lot of Republican states. They all talk the talk, but, nobody's walking the walk.
So you're talking about Texas? For the border, Greg Abbott's done a lot. He's even put up some wall. But unfortunately, the border falls under federal jurisdiction, and for a governor to send their National Guard to the border and get involved in an international thing like that is illegal.
Okay.
To answer your question, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I know.
We don't see anybody helping us out. This is something that's going to definitely be influxing for every one of us.
America is under attack. Hey, by the way, thanks for the call from West Palm Beach. All right, take care. Not only is this an outrageous thing that's going on at the southern border, I was talking about this earlier in the week. You look at the tens of thousands that are pouring in. This is an invasion of this country, and more people will die as a result of this than on 9/11 through the crimes that are committed. That's right. Through the crimes that are committed by the illegals that are coming in right now by the thousands, people will die. People will become crime victims, all kinds of crime victims. Plus, all this talk of reparations going on. Here we have this new slave trade. Well, it's not new. The southern border is a slave trade. Labor slavery, sex slavery, child trafficking, all the most terrible things are coming through this. And Biden doesn't care. Why? Because he's a scummy sleazeball. That's why. You're on the air. What's your name? Where you call? Oh, no, sorry. They had better thoughts. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. I don't think Biden thinks it's bad, all this trafficking at the southern border. He probably kind of likes it a little bit, if you know what I mean. He's a sicko. Look at his son. Who raised him? Joe and Jill raised Hunter. And by the way, both their kids they raised have spent a huge chunk of their life not only addicted, but in and out of rehabs, okay? So when both, I have a lot of sympathy for addicts. I talk a lot about my addiction to coffee that I can't give up. I understand, and I've known people and know people now who have children and family members who have addictions, and I get it, and I'm sympathetic. But what the worst thing you can give a drug addict is? What's the worst thing you can give a drug addict? Other than, of course, a drug. Money. Money, money, money. Because you give a drug addict money, they're going to go out and spend it on drugs, which you want them off of. And look what Joe does. He gives Hunter millions of dollars, which tells me he doesn't care about his son. I don't care what he says. And I know they say everybody loves their kids. If your child is an addict at the level, and this goes for Jill too. I know Hunter's not her son. She raised him though. If you have a child that is suffering from addiction, God help you. I know it's a terrible thing. I've seen it in families. Believe me, I've seen people that are addicted to drugs. It's god awful. But you don't give them 10 cents. If you give an addict 10 cents, they'll find 10 cents worth of drugs. They will. They will. And you give them millions of dollars, I cannot imagine. I could not imagine giving millions of dollars to someone that has a drug addiction, like Hunter Biden. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
And I agree with you. Joe Biden pimps his children, or his son, for sure.
Yep.
That when you profit from the illegalities of anyone, you're pimping them, in my opinion. And that's what he did.
The addiction probably makes him it makes it easier to control him as your money mule and money launderer.
Absolutely. That's why one of the things that the pimps with women, or in the sex business, what they do, most of the time they're addicted. They get the women.
When I was driving into the radio station this morning, I was driving down Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm, east of 95, and I saw a man and a woman passed out on a bench, and the guy was slumped down on his right, and the woman was slumped down over her. It was a bus bench, and this was about 5:15 this morning. You know they're both hooked on drugs, and you know that the one thing that guy doesn't want that girl to do is get off drugs, because then she'll move on from him on the bus bench. And they're just like Joe, Hunter, and Jill, except they got more money, the Bidens. I got to run for a break, but I'll give you the last word, Buck.
Well, I just agree with you, and I also think that Greg Abbott should take care of his state. To hell with who's doing something illegal. I think he should line his border with the National Guard, regardless of what Joe Biden says.
All right, take care. We'll be right back.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. On this Friday, we're going to see daytime highs here in the upper 80s yet again, and a little slight chance of a shower, but overall, it's going to be dry this Friday, similar to yesterday. Plenty of sunshine and east-southeast winds. I'm WPDF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
The Palm Beaches were still accident-free this morning and pretty much moving up the speed between Boca Raton and Jupiter. The surface streets are also crash-free. Just some bright light volume right now on Forest Hill Boulevard, eastbound from 95. We do have a multi-vehicle crash on the Turnpike south on the Griffin Road. That's blocking one right lane. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Shoppers is your local sweet corn farmer, letting you know that Florida sweet corn is in season. Ask for Fresh from Florida. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Learn more to follow freshfromflorida.com and have a meeting from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's Shop Bumpers Bar.
Traffic is service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out this Friday for dinner and a show with the hilarious Jimmy Schubert live in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC. Jimmy is a last comic standing finalist, actor, and comedian that you absolutely need to see live. This Sunday, treat mom to a special day in the Paddock for our delicious Mother's Day brunch buffet with live music and Hoffman's Treats for Mom. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com. Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News now, I'm Inez de la Quatera. A major development in the disappearance on Aruba 18 years ago of Natalie Holloway, the Alabama...
Can you believe Natalie Holloway was 18 years ago? My goodness.
Never seen again. Now, her family says Peru has agreed to extradite longtime prime suspect Duran Vandersloot to the U.S.
It's fairly extraordinary for another country to temporarily give up a prisoner to the United States. It would have taken a fair amount of negotiation between U.S. authorities and Peruvian authorities.
ABC News contributor Brad Garrett is a former FBI agent. Vandersloot doing a long stretch in Peruvian prison for a murder there. Title 42 restrictions on asylum-seeking migrants end late tonight. Officials think an expected surge after the expiration may have already happened. A woman in custody in Chicago after 8 other women were struck since Sunday by a woman wielding a ball bat on the city's northwest side. This is ABC News.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now. What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep, switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 True Oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. Here you see your home right from the palm of
Have you seen this news story with Target? Oh my goodness. That coffee went down the wrong way. Oh, I didn't even hear it. Yeah. Oh, it was yesterday's news plate at the top. That's no big thing. It happens. Here we go.
1977. It's the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. It is open phones at 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Open Manga Mike Friday. In the first hour, we'll continue this, and I'll play the audio later. Anderson Cooper has told MAGA people not to watch CNN. I was just reading during the break. You hear this new thing with Target? Remember I was telling you guys earlier in the week I had those gay pride shirts that I didn't know were gay pride shirts at Target? Remember that? The Star Trek and Star Wars with the rainbow flag? I didn't know. Now, Target has trans-friendly slogans on T-shirts and gender-neutral clothing. Here's one T-shirt that says, "Trans people will always exist." And this is just very strange stuff going on over there. You know, there's a group called Gays Against Groomers that are publicizing this and have brought it to our attention. Unfortunately, Gays Against Groomers is supporting Ron DeSantis, so I'm not a big fan of Gays Against Groomers. How about Gays for Trump? I'll get back on that train. But this the transgender clothing, I might go to the Target by my house over the weekend just to see if they have this trans clothing at my local Target. That is so bizarre. What kind of parent would buy that for their child? Could you imagine putting that on your child? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Doug.
I don't like Target. Never go to that, but anyway.
You don't like Target? Why don't you like Target? I like Target.
I don't know. I just don't.
But I say when my wife and I, we go to Target, but if my wife has to use the ladies' room, I always stand guard outside. I'm not kidding. In case some guy tries to make his way into the ladies' room, I'll be there to stop him.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like that. With that kind of attitude, I think it goes someplace else. Anyway, the thing I wanted to say is about CNN. You know, since you know that the most important thing is ratings in the TV network, I think CNN management knew damn well that having this Keaton up there, not being totally against everything that everybody else is seeing, and doesn't have as much derangement syndrome. I think they said, let's get Trump here, let's get him ratings up, let's get all those mega people watching and help our brand, and this is exactly what happened.
Well, you know, Fox went on self-destruct mode, and they are, they're like in third place now during huge parts of the day. So CNN, of course, and others, that they want the viewers. And for Anderson Cooper to do what he did, I mean, would you fire Anderson Cooper for telling people not to watch unless you agree with us? How's that? By the way, how's that news? CNN stands for Cable News Network. How is it news if you don't want people to watch you unless they agree with you politically?
He may be on his way out, but then again, because he's gay and he has some famous parents, maybe they'll keep him on. But I think that certainly they're trying to get a little more center, and because they already know they have a ton of people with derangement syndrome. So I think this is what's going to happen. They're trying to get more more right, more center at least.
Yeah.
We'll soon see. I think this person who is on with Trump, she did a pretty good job. She was still trying to say, you know, Trump just knows how to answer every question. And
well, no, they've promoted Caitlin Collins after they announced yesterday that Caitlin Collins will be taking over the 9 p.m. primetime slot, which is a time slot promotion and a big salary increase. So after her epic fail because she wasn't lying, she's just not informed. Because she's so incompetent and uninformed, had the most embarrassing moment in the history of live television. Really, it truly is. And they promote her over that? My goodness.
Well, like I said, they need somebody to be somewhat left, but not as left as the rest of them. So I think they figured
there are liberal people that are competent. All right, hey, listen, Doug, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Ben from Pompano.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, so Anderson Cooper and CNN, I mean, that was a deranged, loon-filled rant. I mean, he dehumanized like a half of the American population by, he insinuated that like all the people that support Trump are, threats to democracy and I mean,
democracy is when everyone agrees with right think of the left. If you think with the left, if you disagree with CNN, you're a danger.
Yeah, I mean, that is truly the danger, that they believe their moral certitude is so established that they think anyone who opposes them, they're willing to throw us in jail, label us domestic terrorists. I mean, it's very frightening that aired on television, a major news network yesterday. But I think they're mad because Trump's popularity is far, far greater than the approval rating of the media as an institution in this country, especially CNN. More Americans love Trump than they even, CNN is a joke. I think they're just mad because it was shoved in their face.
CNN was #1 for decades, and Fox took that away from them. And now they got a chance to regain it. They had 5 times their normal viewers the other night, and they're ticked and they're apologizing and telling those viewers to go away. We don't want you. We don't want to be on your TVs. That's crazy, crazy.
Yeah, and they cannot stand the idea. These type of people, these East Coast elites who go on vacation in the Swiss Alps or St. Barts, can't stand that the public at large views them as more of a problem than someone like President Trump, who they see as just this rube or this uncouth like buffoon. They can't stand it.
Well, it's just like what it's like. It's like when I was a couple weeks ago, I did a live YouTube stream on Fort Lauderdale Beach with my MAGA hat, and this gay guy comes and gives me the middle finger on the live stream. You can watch it on my video. If you guys don't follow me on YouTube, you should. Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And he and I was talking about it, and I said, he doesn't know that I'm a local. I could be a tourist. Fort Lauderdale, you're in Pompano. Fort Lauderdale Beach is the tourist part of town. Awesome. Yeah, I used to live down there too, and I spent my high school years there. That's the best beach of it. But anyway, I could be from Michigan. And here I am, a tourist, and this guy gives me the middle finger because of my MAGA hat. I may never come back to Florida, but you know what? He doesn't care. The liberals in Fort Lauderdale don't want MAGA people coming here on vacation and spending their money on the local businesses. They'd rather go out of business.
You see that, but then you see these like boat parades too that have Trump flags as far as the eye can see. So, there are liberals. If Broward is probably like, the last.
Fort Lauderdale's Broward's liberal, but Fort Lauderdale, they got a gay mayor. It's a very liberal town. When they had the Trump boat parade in Jupiter by the beautiful lighthouse up there, I went there. I was at one of the restaurants on the water. I could have walked across the Intracoastal Waterway, just jumping from boat to boat and not gotten wet. There were so many boats out there during that parade for Trump.
I know. I mean, I hear you. The Fort Lauderdale can be amazing, but for every Trump, for every one of those stickers you see that says like hate has no home here or whatever.
Yeah.
You see Trump flags, so there's a phase here. So, but I hear you. Anyways, CNN is terrible.
Yes. All right, listen, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call from Pompano. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor.
Hey, in the chat room, tell me quickly, because I got to do the commercial. What's your favorite MyPillow product? Your favorite MyPillow product? And then whatever the majority say, I'll do the commercial on that. I'll do a little poll here. Your favorite MyPillow product? It's hard. I know that's hard, because I've got them all, pretty much. The MyPillow 2.0, the pillow, the mattress topper, pillow towels. Yeah. Is there a special on the towels?
Oh, you're my movers? 2 men in a truck.
Good morning. I'm man number 1. I'm man number 2. And I'm man number 3.
3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Okay, I'll do one commercial on the mattress topper, and then the next hour I'll do one on the pillows. I don't think there's a special on the towel. Oh, yeah, there's a special on the towels.
But you can still find us at 2menpalmbeach.com and
They're half off.
This is Laura
Okay.
Kane. When people go to the dentist, they think of the pain.
Oh, Charmaine, you got to order some. Now, listen, guys. One of our regular YouTube chatters who's here every day on YouTube in the mornings, is fallen on some tough times, has to have some surgery, and they put together a crowdfunding campaign, which I put the link and pinned it into the chat. So I'm not going to say who they are, because they got a different name in the chat, unless they want to. They can identify themselves if they want, but it's someone you guys all know. And if you can help, please do. Click on that link. It'll tell you what's going on and all the details. And if you can, please help. But if not, that's okay. But if you can, please help. The link is pinned right there in the chat. Oh, I haven't talked about the towels in a while, so I'll mention the towels in this commercial.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. And, it might be a little too late for Mother's Day, but it's not too late for Father's Day or yourself at MyPillow.com. Now, I talk about so many of the great MyPillow products. One I haven't talked about in a while is the MyPillow 6-piece towel set, which is 50% off right now with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Now, remember, you can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com, not just the ones I highlight. But the MyPillow towels, which I dried my body off with this morning, are amazing. Mike Lindell in his commercial says, towels that actually work, what a concept. And that's not just a slogan, it's true. And I have this one experience, you may have heard me tell this story, but I got up in the morning, this was a while back, to take a shower before I came to the radio station, and all the towels were dirty. They were in the laundry, and all that was left was the washcloth from the 6-piece MyPillow towel set. So I grabbed the washcloth, and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be fun. So I get out of the shower, and I take just the washcloth, not a hand towel, just the washcloth from the 6-piece MyPillow towel set. I dried my hair and my entire body with just the washcloth, and my hair and body were dry. That's how good the towels are. That's just the washcloth. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, they're that good. They come in many different colors, by the way. My wife and I, we have 2 sets of them, one for each of our bathrooms, and they're 50% off at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Now, it's open phones today. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. On Fridays, you can call and talk about anything and everything on your mind, not just the topics that we bring up, okay? So let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, you're on the... Can you turn down the volume of whatever you're listening to me on?
Good morning. This is Kathy from Tequesta.
Oh, hey, Kathy in Tequesta. What's on your mind?
Well, let me tell you, I loathe Anderson Cooper. He's the worst. I can't even look at him on like a commercial or if you see him on the news. He's just disgusting. He's just like, to talk about like calling a thug when President Trump says that. Look at his family background, okay? They had servants, okay, of people of color, okay? And he's the one that's telling everybody to feel.
In fact, I remember, now it's interesting, his Anderson Cooper's family, or the Vanderbilt family, one of the oldest money families in America, and not only was his wealth came from slave labor. I remember when Obama was president, they did some genealogy and found out that Anderson Cooper's family used to own Michelle Obama's family, owned them, literally.
Oh, but that's okay. You don't. That's all hush hush. You don't hear of that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yes.
Practice what they need to practice what they preach. These people, okay? Because he is pathetic, Anderson Cooper.
And I got another question now, because I'm thinking about, Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. His mother was Gloria Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilts were that Gilded Age era, right, of wealth in America, and made a huge chunk of their money on the railroads. The railroads were built with Chinese slave labor.
And what do you think when ran their estates, their mansions and everything?
Exactly.
People of color.
Exactly.
The one that's sitting there saying, oh, look at the people. You can't own people like that. Your whole family owned them, Anderson Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
The history of your family, okay?
Oh, believe me, he knows it. He knows it.
Yeah, and he's hiding it. And if his grandfather ever knew what type of person he turned out to be, he'd be rolling.
What do you mean, gay? You mean gay or liberal? Gay or liberal?
Yeah, of course. Oh, both. Are you kidding me? Are you lock them in the closet?
Yeah, yeah.
Suppress them from society. They would. Look what they did to the half the family men. The mother, how crazy she went because she was just like the daughter-in-law. They was out of.
Mm-hmm.
People are ruthless. They're people, and they need to practice what they preach. Okay, so Anderson Cooper, he should get fired. Okay, keep your liberal thoughts to yourself because you're all out of your mind. Okay, these people, you can't even talk to people, liberal people, because they're out of their minds. They're not society today. Okay, but thank you very much for having me on your show.
Well, thank you.
Trump, let's ram it, let's throw it in their faces. Trump 2024.
That's right. Yeah, Tequesta. Man, Tequesta must be a hot MAGA center. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Tracy from Boca.
Tracy in Boca. What's up?
Yeah. Hey, I want to give a shout out to a Trumpster comedian that will not get any press. He's playing at the Black Box May 18th. Big, huge Trumpster. And I went last year. No, they did not promote him at all. His name is Kayvon. He's an up-and-coming Republican.
Well, I don't know who he is, but plugs for nightclubs and things. That's like paid promotion on the radio station. We don't, but okay, you got it out. Well, next time he comes to town, have the Black Box call the radio station.
Yes, please. I would. Well, they don't promote him though. That's the thing.
Well, they obviously they want to promote him. They're inviting him there.
I want to get.
Didn't you call me last year with this? Because I remember somebody called about a conservative. You did. I told you the same thing last year when he called. I said, hey, no free plugs.
They were trying to fight with him.
All right, I appreciate that. We're not doing free advertisement on the show. Okay, I'm sorry. People pay for that. When you what you do when you're doing that, right? Even after I remember very clearly, she called in. I guess the guy comes every year. She called in last year, and I told her the same thing. When you do that, what you're doing is really, it's almost like shoplifting. You're stealing. You're stealing radio advertising. All right, so let's get back to this. So Anderson Cooper, the town hall meeting with President Trump drew 3.3 million viewers, 5 times the normal viewership of CNN. There's an article in Axios. Let me read this. CNN's controversial town hall with President Donald Trump. What was controversial about it? I thought he was great. Drew 3.3 million viewers, making CNN the most watched cable news network of the evening. The event delivered a much-needed ratings boost for CNN, though at a cost. The network has faced blowback from critics and employees who argued it gave the former president a platform to lie in real time. Well, you know, people call me all the time and lie, right? People call me all the time and lie, and it's up to me to call them out on their lies. Remember, the last call of the show yesterday was this bizarre woman who said that President Trump's having affairs behind Melania's back. She lied. What did I do? I said, yeah, I held her feet to the fire, right? I questioned her about it, right? I didn't have someone speak it in my ear. I didn't run off and cry after the show, and I exposed her. So, you know, people lie. Not that President Trump lies, but if you're interviewing someone who lies, it's up to you to expose them as a liar. Yeah. All right, listen, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour break. I didn't get time to go through this article, but we'll come back to the phones. Yeah, I have a good memory. I remember that caller from a year ago. I have a very good memory. I remember everything. Oh, by the way, weekends, I don't want to forget this, noon to 4, Saturday and Sunday. You guys know Al Knight. Al Knight's been with Steve and I on so many radio stations over the years. And he's the afternoon guy, noon to 4 weekends on all of our radio stations. Al Knight. Remember, he used to be with Craig Worthing. That's right. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
I remember last year too.
You remember it? Yeah. I told her the same thing. She probably works at the Black Box.
She has to. She probably doesn't want to pay for that.
Exactly.
So that's why she's
exactly.
advertising, because you guys don't want that.
Yeah, that's stealing. She's stealing. That lady's stealing radio time.
She knows what she's doing.
Radio, yeah, exactly. Radio time costs money. You know, this stuff, you know, people pay a lot of money for this. They're going to give free advertisement to people. I'd be happy to advertise that. I know that place she's talking about. I live not far from there. I would do advertisements for them. Oh, there's a new Trump ad. You guys want to hear the new Trump ad?
We do have a crash on 6th Avenue South and I-95, also on Manhattan Road and Broadway Street. A crash lingers in West Palm along Southern Boulevard on Australian Avenue, and a crash in Clear to Davie on the Turnpike South on Griffin Road. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Shoppers, this is your local sweet corn farmer letting you know that Florida sweet corn is in season. Ask for Fresh from Florida. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com and happy eating from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's traffic. I'm Chris Ballmer.
Traffic is service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out this Friday for dinner and a show with the hilarious Jimmy Schubert live in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC. Jimmy is a last comic standing finalist, actor, and comedian that you absolutely need to see live. This Sunday, treat mom to a special day in the Paddock for our delicious Mother's Day brunch buffet with live music and Hoffman's Treats for Mom. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad I got some on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879.
Oh, yeah, I got more stuff. Don't worry.
Promo code Kane.
Hey, it's Vic from the TOC, and I'm living proof that the One Life Health and Performance customized weight loss plan works. Thanks to the personalized services of Dr. Winnard and his team, I am down 45 pounds. I feel great. I went from a 36-inch waist to a 32. I stopped snoring, and I no longer need that annoying sleep machine. Thanks to One Life Health and Performance, I am starting to live my best healthy life.
When you become a patient of One Life Health and Performance, you can be sure that your health and wellness goals will be personalized and achievable. Our team will be by your side every step of the way to make looking and feeling your best not just a dream, but a reality. Visit OneLifeHealthAndPerformance.com to be your best, most healthy self today. OneLifeHealthAndPerformance.com.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our values and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. There's over 1,200 in the live stream right now. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. This is the most pro-Donald Trump place anywhere. No one loves Trump more than me. You'll never hear me disagree or take issue or criticize President Trump, ever, ever. And did you guys watch my YouTube video when I went to President Trump's McDonald's? The McDonald's that President Trump eats at?
604-4602.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids than ride in an ambulance.
I'd rather have a catch with my dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you should watch it. It's on my channel. I made it last week. It's...
With certain chronic conditions like heart disease, asthma, or diabetes, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent.
That was a fun video. My first, the debut of the MAGA Scooter 2.0. I still have the MAGA Scooter 1 in the garage.
Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval.
I've heard from so many weirdos to buy my scooter. It's insane.
Allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems.
Yeah, I do some shorts too.
To the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855.
That's right. 2 scoops.
Or visit Prevnar20.com.
You're always up for some fun with the family, so you order the essentials: a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
Here we go.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
That's right. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number 1 888 Go Kane 1. So the Title 42 is ending, and there's going to be this huge, of course, invasion taking place, and it already has happened. You know, I read a story this morning. Let me see here. It's in Breitbart. In 72 hours, 31,000 illegals were apprehended. 7,300 got away. So we got 40,000 plus in the first 3 days. And those are the numbers they're giving us. It's probably higher than that. This is crazy. This is crazy what's going on. You know, last weekend I made a YouTube video. I went to the McDonald's that President Trump gets his food from. It's on my YouTube channel. You guys should check it out. And did any of you guys watch this video? So I go to the McDonald's that President Trump goes to in Palm Beach. It's the one closest to Mar-a-Lago, and nobody who works there speaks English. If you watch this. In fact, when I'm in front of the McDonald's talking, it's right in the beginning of the video, and some dreamers come by and cuss me out because I'm wearing my MAGA hat. And when I went inside to order, I got chicken McNuggets. I ordered a 6-piece McNugget meal and a cheeseburger and a milkshake with 2 scoops, of course, in the milkshake. That's the Trump. You got to get the 2 scoops. That really freaks out CNN when you get 2 scoops You know, they really hate that. And the girl who took my order, I asked for a 6-piece McNugget. She didn't speak English. She didn't know what 6 was. And my Spanish is really bad, okay? You know, when I was in college, I was afraid I wasn't going to graduate college because of the foreign language requirement. I took Spanish. I took Spanish in high school and got F's in it. I took Spanish, I cannot tell you how many times in college. And I took it, and I would always drop it before the drop date because then I tried French a few times. I tried German. And I've got like a learning disability when it comes to foreign languages. And I had a foreign language requirement for my college graduation, 2 semesters, you know, Spanish 1101 and 1102. Those are the last 2 classes I took in college, 4 years of college. Last 2 classes were Spanish 1 and 2. But anyway, my Spanish is awful. So I go to the Trump McDonald's, and you'll see I show everyone in the kitchen, and none of them speak English. And I ordered a 6-piece McNugget, and she didn't know what 6 was, and I couldn't just think, so I had to count on my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I said, 6 McNuggets. And she says, no, and I couldn't understand. Lady behind me says they don't have 6-piece McNuggets. They have 10-piece McNuggets. And I said, well, wait a minute. If you've got 10, you certainly have 6, right? So so I said no. So I had to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I said, 10 McNuggets. She said, okay, and gave them to me. And if you watch the video, you'll love it. You'll see the dreamer cuss me out in front of the McDonald's in my MAGA hat, okay? And I go inside and I show no one speaks English in the Trump McDonald's. Then they're laughing at me because I'm counting on my fingers. Well, I'm in America, okay? I'm in Palm Beach. When I failed Spanish in 9th grade in high school, I remember my teacher. She says, Brian, you better learn Spanish. This is my Spanish teacher. She said, you better learn Spanish. You will not be able to function in Florida unless you can speak Spanish by the year 2000. Well, okay, you know, but yeah, by the year 2000, if I don't speak Spanish, I'm not going to be able to function. That's what she told me. Great role, you know, great inspiration from my Spanish teacher. But yeah, no one speaks English, and I was the only white guy there too. Not just there. I mean, they're eating, working. There were, you know, and really basically the only one speaking English. I was very surprised that I had to count in Spanish to get my. But if they spoke English, I would have told them, well, wait a minute. If you have 10 McNuggets, you have 6. You can't have 10 unless you got 6. But it didn't compute, and I couldn't do the translation. If I was at a regular McDonald's with English speakers, I would have explained it to them. All right, let's go. I know, isn't that crazy? That's the world we live in now. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Oh, hey, Andrea.
I'd like to just talk about CNN for a second. So I rewatched the town hall this morning, and really,
really, where did you know? Hold on, you know, some people messaged me yesterday. They said that CNN scrubbed the Trump town hall from their website and even from their YouTube and everything, and they were having a hard time finding the complete town hall. Where'd you watch it?
Well, what I did is I watched a rerun of one of the YouTube follow.
Oh, so a YouTuber illegally ran it. CNN took the full town hall off their website and YouTube, and to get the entire town hall yesterday legitimately, unless somebody was doing a bootleg, was impossible.
History.
I'm not kidding. I'm serious. One friend of mine is a journalist, and he was trying to write a story on it, and he contacted me yesterday. He couldn't find the full town hall meeting in its entirety. Think about that.
I'm not gonna promote somebody else's YouTube channel on your show out of respect for what you do. But I noticed, this is what I noticed. And Trump brilliantly let her do it. Caitlin Collins, a typical feminist, beyond the Trump derangement syndrome, shows just how abusive feminine women
feminist women are towards men. And he just let her do it like she was just incredibly combative and abusive. And with that being said, I can't help but wonder if she was that way towards Don Lemon, and you know, like liberal men are very weak. And that's what made him finally just snap.
Oh, yeah.
But
oh, yeah.
This is what I think is interesting about what Anderson Cooper did. I find it very interesting. I think Anderson Cooper is trying to get fired on purpose.
No, he's not trying to get fired on purpose. He's just arrogant.
This is why. Anderson Cooper understands that mainstream media is dead. I think it's super interesting that he would make that statement a week after Tucker Carlson came out on Twitter and was like, this is what I'm doing. I just find it incredibly interesting that he would intentionally say, stop watching CNN, because they're all MSN is on the
I know it's so insane. You would think he was trying to get fired. No, they hate liberals so much they don't even want them watching them. And think about that. You don't know who. It's just like me. Here we are in the mornings. Half the people at least listening to me at some point are on the toilet. At some point, I don't care. You're listening. So you never know. No, I'm serious. You never know who's listening. You never know what they're doing. Who cares? And on TV, it's the same thing. You don't know who's watching or what they're doing. Who cares? As long as they're watching. But he doesn't even, you don't know. You have no connection because you can't see who's watching you. He doesn't want people watching him that don't agree with him politically. That's crazy. And then not only that, he told I want to play it again, the audio of Anderson Cooper last night, okay? He also said to liberals, if you're upset with us, don't watch us anymore and I'll understand. If you don't watch us anymore, liberals, because we had President Trump on. That's crazed.
I'm just going to respectfully disagree. I think he's trying to get out because he knows that it's only going to be a matter of.
Then what's he going to do? Hang out with Andy Cohen on Bravo and talk about the housewives all the time on Watch What Happens Live? I don't think so. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. Call us on hold, stand by. I haven't played this in an hour. Anderson Cooper did an on-air apology and then told people not to watch CNN during his primetime show live on television last night. This is what Andrea was talking about. Oh, hold on. Let me turn the volume up. Hold on, guys. Here we go. Let me rewind it.
Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact check him, it is impossible to fact check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president.
That's right.
And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years.
That's right.
And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
Oh, my goodness. So, Anderson Cooper, if you don't agree with me, do not watch me. If you do agree and you're disappointed that Trump was on CNN and you never watch again, that's okay. I'll understand. Don't watch anymore. He's mentally unfit to be on television. You cannot have someone who is unglued on television, especially on a live show. He does that live, right? It's not pre-recorded, so if he has a meltdown, it's out there. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Call us on hold. Stand by.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, it's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Barry, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Great. What do you have for us today?
Well, just to follow up on what we were talking about yesterday, that besides, of course, the estate planning and elder law, our firm has been around. We've been doing estate planning, elder law, and probate for 25 years. And we don't talk about the probate part of the practice too often. So we do probate and trust administration. That's handling the administration of the estate after someone has passed away. Now, of course, our goal is to help people avoid probate, but let's talk about really what probate is. Probate is going to court, and most people, unless you're a lawyer and you're making an hourly rate, you don't want to go to court, right? So why don't we want to go to court? Whether it's something that you've experienced in the past, whether you've been sued or you had to sue someone, whether it's a traffic ticket or a divorce, a lot of the things are the same. You're dealing, first of all, you have a lawyer, and with a probate, you have to have a lawyer represent you. Number two, when you're going to court, you have court costs, and then you have a judge involved, somebody who doesn't know you or your family, and they're making decisions. It's a public process. It can take a long time. Probates can take 6 months to 2 years generally, and we could be looking at a lot of money in fees. So for all of those reasons, people should want to avoid probate, and that's why it's so important to do the right planning and what we talk about all the time. But we do help people who do have to go through that process. In fact, I had someone the other day who called in that had a parent who did everything right, except for one account that they forgot to put into the trust. And because of that, this one account, that by the time they're done, there might be somewhere around $8,000 left that would need to go through probate. But it's going to cost them at least $4,000 or $5,000 between fees and costs and all. So it just doesn't make sense. So two messages, really. We want to make sure we avoid probate, but when you do have probate or trust administration, Siegel Law Group can help you with that.
Yeah, and the probate lawyers, they hate attorney Barry Siegel. Barry Siegel is not allowed at any of the probate lawyer bars. If you walked into one of those probate lawyer bars, Barry, I imagine the music would stop and everyone would start, they hate you. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Listen, it's always a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, give him a call. By the way, he not only did he do Steve's trust, Steve had documents before from another attorney before we met Barry. Barry reviewed it at no charge. And if Steve would have passed before attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group reviewed and updated his documents, pretty much everything would have gone through probate. And he had a revocable living trust in name only because so much was not included and it was out of date. So give attorney Barry Siegel a call and have the Siegel Law Group review your documents and make sure that everything is in that trust. Here's the number, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782 and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
And have a great weekend.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All righty, it is. All right, and don't forget, it is Open Phones on Friday. Open MAGA Mike Friday. Any and everything you have on your mind is fair game on Friday. You are not limited to the topics that we bring up. All right, Steve is still under the weather, by the way. I talked to Steve this morning on the way in, and he is and there is something going on in Steve's family that I can't reveal right now. Not with Steve, but somebody else in the family that he's dealing with. So not only is he under the weather, he's got something major going on in the family, which I think when it's all worked out, he'll share with you. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa in Texas.
Hey, Lisa.
And you keep playing that clip of Anderson Cooper, and I just crack up every time.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Hysterical. It's beautiful. And the meltdown is fantastic. I love it. And then somebody brought up the stuff at the border. Well, I'm right here in Texas. Let me tell you. I mean, I work at a grocery store, and every now and then they bring a busload of folks out, and they come in the store and buy stuff. They got money. They don't know how to spend it. Of course, they don't speak any English, and it's from all countries,
Yeah.
Lady from Africa, and she was pregnant, about 6 months pregnant, with her suitcase and new money. They have their food cards, the black and white food stamp cards. They don't know how to use them. You have to help them with everything.
Mm.
It's pretty horrific. I mean, and it's an onslaught, and it's been going on ever since.
I was reading a story yesterday that said that the rush to the border is not going to be as many people at a time as expected, because this is what they said. This was an article I read yesterday. It's on my Twitter somewhere. I'm not going to go find it. I'll just paraphrase my recollections. But they said the drug cartels get paid for every person that crosses the border, right? And they said they cannot handle this many people at once collecting the money to cross the border. So the cartels on the southern side of the border are going to slow down the rush as much as they can, because they can't get money at that rate. Isn't that crazy that we've got the cartels doing more border regulation than our own government in this country? When you think about it, it's crazy.
Oh, it's absolutely insane, and it's completely out of control. Who ever thought? I never thought in my whole life that our country would come to this type of thing, where they're in control of our border. I mean, my God, what?
Well, I talk about this a lot. This is what I believe is going on. I believe this influx at the southern border. Don't believe any of this nonsense that they're from Venezuela, because Venezuela's government situation, if you're Venezuelan, you get refugee status because of the political situation. So they all say they're from Venezuela. They're liars, okay? But I believe this is an attack on this country by China, and I gave you two reasons. One, the fentanyl crisis is a direct attack by China. They make the fentanyl in China. China ships it to the Pacific ports in Mexico. China gives the fentanyl to the cartels, and they bring it into the country. That's an attack by China. I was talking earlier in the week that 35,000 came across just in the last 72 hours, right? They say to move that many people, you have to have too many facilities along the way. There is a supply chain that's being run by someone with high-level military experience of the rank of colonel or above, that has worked in this area in a military organization. They train for this for troop movements. And I believe the Chinese army has people here coordinating with the cartels. And the example I give, there's a holiday in China every year where all their slave factories that like Apple and stuff have over there shut down, and all the Chinese slaves go back home for a holiday. It's every year, because there's more Chinamen every year. Every year, it's the largest migration of humans in history. And then they got to come back, and it's done with precision in China. So this whole border issue is China. It's an attack on this country by China.
Well, we are working with them then, because our own government has agencies all across the border. They're already legalizing people with paperwork across the border, so that
correct.
They're already legal, and they have the app that they put into place. It's not
correct. And I was talking earlier about this transgender clothing line at Target. Where are those clothes made? Correct, China. That's right. You know, TikTok, where all this stuff, China. Everything that is, we are under attack by China in so many ways, and no one puts the pieces together because, you know, Dianne Feinstein, you know, you saw her, my goodness, she looked dead yesterday. I mean, she doesn't even know where she's at. She's in Ruth Bader Ginsburg was in better health in those last days. And she's controlled by China. Joe's controlled by China. McConnell's controlled by China. Our government in Washington, D.C. is like the government of Chicago in the 1930s during Prohibition. They're all on the take and they're crooked.
Yeah, like 85% minimum is what I feel like.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I agree. And so that's what's going on here. And I agree. I think Greg Abbott could do more. I think he could do more.
I know it's an international border, but for gosh sakes, I mean, you know, all of the Republicans, here's the problem. They don't stick together.
And by the way, it's where you're at in Texas, it's the worst, but I'm hearing reports in the local news that here in Florida that there's a mass migration of illegals coming by boat here to Florida. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, and you know, but they won't let the Cubans in, will they? Because they know what communism is.
Well, they just say they're Venezuelan. Then they're here.
They've got to try to say that. You're right. And like I said, it's all nationality.
You know, my daughter, you know, I give you, like my daughter, I talk about how she's moved to California. And she went to get an apartment out there, and they wouldn't give her the lease because she has a Florida driver's license. She has the wrong documents. So, yeah, I know. So she has to get so she has to get her documents in order. You think these people crossing the border, you think I'm kidding? These people crossing the border from into California, do they need documents to get the apartment lease? But my daughter from Florida they're saying she's not up to date on her documents. It's crazy.
I lived in California for 2 years, and my Texas license expired while I was there. I had to get a California one, and I had to go through the paperwork says you have to go back 10 years in your life with history, right?
Yeah.
So I went back 10 years. That wasn't good enough for them. I had to go all the way to birth, Brian. I had to get my frickin' birth certificate, and then the lady said, well, we don't know if we believe you, that this is you. And I just started crying. And I started to yell a little bit. I said, I want to talk to your manager right now. You know, I'm a legal citizen of this country, and you're putting me through hell just to get a driver's license when I see people standing in here that I know were not born here, and you're just giving them their paperwork.
Yeah.
Driver's license. And I got attention real quick then, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's insane. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. All right. I mean, great calls today, by the way. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Brian. How you doing today?
All right. How are you?
I'm okay. Listen, I totally agree with you with the China comment. I believe that it's also China paying for all these migrants coming in through the border.
Yes.
And they are not Venezuelans. I know that there are some Venezuelans crossing in, especially to those poor 7 people that were, that were killed by this other Hispanic guy that the liberals were trying to say that he was a white supremacist Hispanic.
Yeah.
Which is
no. By the way, have you noticed that this white supremacist Latino in Texas, that story you haven't seen in the news in about 4 or 5 days now?
I haven't seen it in the news either.
Correct. Well, they found out he's not a Nazi. That's what you can't be a Nazi and white supremacist if you're not white. So it didn't fit the narrative. It was probably cartel connected.
Actually, he was connected to the cartel. I was reading the news that he was to the cartel. Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, the Chinese government is behind all of this. You know why, Brian? I think it's because they want to eliminate young American men.
Well, what they're doing is we have no men of military. Look at who we have to pull upon to be in the military now. A bunch of unisexual guys. I mean, I mean, my goodness. I mean, they're so feminized. How are they going to be in the service? How are they going to be in the service? So they're planning a move, and they're weakening our military age men.
They're weakening our military. The fentanyl is killing our.
Listen, I got to run for the top of the hour break, so I'll give you the last word.
What I'm saying is that they're killing our men. Meanwhile, they're working on reinforcement their army, just like Russia is doing it. I don't know if you saw.
That's right. All right, that's more than one word, so I got to run. Okay, but thanks for the call. Great call. We'll be right back.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK.
It's true. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, all right? And if you're new, all the callers are callers that are listening to me on the radio. Many of them are from YouTube and other platforms. But all the calls are screenless. When people call in, I just put them on hold. No one answers the phone. I'll just, like somebody now, boom, I just put them on hold. And then I take the calls screenless on the air. I don't know who's on the phone or what they're going to say until they get on the air. So I'm going to play the new Trump ad when we get back.
In all of this, and it's the fact, something that I think is really important in all of this, and it's the fact that New York passed this law.
Regina was in front of a hotel room window at the Standard. She's more of an exhibitionist, that is, less of a rape fan.
Keep going.
Lisa wanted me to break into her room middle of the night, attack her. Vicious, that is.
Is my wife still in the chat? I can't remember. I'm going to play the clip. I might play the clip from Law and Order that has the rape in the department store, and I just can't remember what episode it was. I want to say it was season 11. My wife told me yesterday in the chat. She remembered. No, she's not here. She said it in the chat yesterday. Does anybody remember? I think it was episode 11. No. I think it was season 11, episode 3. Let me see. Do I have time to look it up? It's not that one. Season 13. Let me see.
Time for this Sunday, Mother's Day, 561-848-1485, or go to their website to order, prevateflorist.com. The most beautiful flower arrangements in town.
It's not that one. I can't find the name. Yeah, okay.
Since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Call us on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Coming up, I have the new ad from President Trump, but I want to play something first. This is some audio. Okay, turn your radios up a little loud for this. Okay, this was hard for me to find, but I found it. There have been some, including our president, who said that E. Jean Carroll's story was ripped from an episode of Law and Order, and I did some searching a couple days ago and found the episode. It's an episode of Law and Order SVU, which I don't really watch. It's too graphic, sexual. It's just rough sex stuff. It's like it's hard to watch, but it's Law and Order SVU, which the episode is free and on demand. It's season 13, episode 11. The title of the episode is called Theater Tricks. And they're investigating a rape that happened in an Eyes Wide Shut type thing. And they have a judge who did the rape. And the judge is a sugar daddy, if you don't know what that is, which I can't imagine. Look it up. And he's being questioned by the Law and Order SVU detectives about the girls that he's a sugar daddy to and their sex fantasies. And this audio I'm going to play is of that interrogation, and you'll hear the description, okay, of the department store that the president says is E. Jean Carroll's story. Listen to this, okay? So it's the judge. And you turn your radio up a little loud, whatever device you're listening to us on, turn it up. And he goes through a couple of them, and then at the end, real quick, he talks about the dressing room story, and then the detectives cut in. All right, so here it is.
Less of a rape fantasy.
Keep going.
Lisa wanted me to break into her room middle of the night, attack her. She was concerned anybody might find out, so we kept in touch.
Did anyone want to role-play a rape with you in a public place?
Yes, there was one, a bit plain, and it was not her fantasy, it was mine. Okay. Yep. Roleplay took place in the dressing room of Bergdorf's. While she was trying on lingerie, I would burst in. Oh.
Okay, then they interrupt him. So the fantasy was Bergdorf's department store, lingerie section, dressing room. He would burst in and rape her. That's yes. Isn't that something? Wow. What a coincidence. Interesting. Small world. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, what's up, Patty?
Oh, not much. How you doing today, Brian?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, if we look back at what happened with Kavanaugh, these ladies, they dig them up God knows where. They come out with these wild stories, and you know what? It's just, I'm beside myself as a woman to see other women use such a horrible accusation against a man. If you have been sexually assaulted, and you're coming out now in front of the whole world and making these crazy accusations because you were afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
Could have quietly, within your town, taken care of it, but now you're on national TV exploding this information all over the place. It's pure lie.
This will sound crazy. I've had people on this show make sex claims involving me. I'm not kidding. More than once, okay? And the one of them happened live on the air. I'm taking, because all the calls are screenless. When you're doing this, you got to be ready for anything. Sorry, Caitlin Collins, But I take a call from this liberal jerk, and then he says he knows 5 men that I've had sex with. Right? This was on the air, just like now. I took your call. He says, no. He says, I know 5 men that you've had sex with, Brian. And he said it really loud. It was right out on the air. What do you think my response was? That's pretty bad.
Shocked.
I know, yeah. What do you think my response was? What did I say? What would you guess?
I would say, knowing you, you probably said, give me the name.
I said that. Well, close. I said, you know 5 men that I've had sex with? He says, yes, I know 5 men you've had sex with. I said to him, I said, listen, bring them into the radio studio tomorrow, these 5 men that you say I've had sex with, and we'll talk. I'll talk to all 5 of them at once. And then, well, I don't know if I can reach all of them. I said, well, bring as many as you can find. 1, 3, 4, 5. We'll have them in studio right at 6. We'll have the whole 3 hours with these 5 men that you say I had sex with. That's exactly, and how could I be so confident about that?
Right.
Because it never happened, right? So, I mean, I'm not having sex with men. Yeah. But that, and there's been some other things. Somebody on another radio station pulled a stunt that I'm not going to get into right now. But I've had, this is what happens. And, you got to stand up to these people. And you got to call them out for liars. You've got to call them out for liars when they do it, okay? Anyone who's a public person, people say stuff all the time.
Yep. Did you see that video of her at her house where she painted the rocks blue because the water was getting too low, and she painted all the trees blue? This is a woman that is clearly not playing with a full deck.
Yeah.
And, somebody out there got a hold of her. They dangled money in front of her, said, we'll support you. We just need you to go through this. We'll pay.
Well, what they do with a lot of these liars is they all have books. And then they inflate the book sales. They buy huge Is that a rooster I hear in the background?
Yes, absolutely.
Where are you calling from?
I'm in Sussex County, New Jersey.
There's roosters in New Jersey?
We live in a very rural area, yes.
Okay.
We've got cows, horses, pigs, roosters, sheep, you name it. We've got them all.
I had someone move in my neighborhood from South America, and they brought a rooster with them. And I thought they were Santeria, if you know what Santeria is, but they weren't. They were just nuts. Yeah, my wife and we pulled into our development, and a rooster flew across us, and my wife's like, I think we should move. The neighborhood's going down the tubes. But, okay, I hear the rooster again. Oh, my goodness.
They're very vocal. I have a donkey, too. You might hear.
A donkey? On your show. A donkey? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There is a section of New Jersey. One time I had moved from New Jersey out to Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, and everybody out there thought we were city slickers. And basically, I was like, no, you have no idea. We came off an 800-acre farm in New Jersey. Trust me.
Why do you have a donkey? What do you do with the donkey?
He's used as protection for our flock of sheep.
Really? Who does he protect the sheep from?
Coyotes.
A donkey will go after a coyote?
Oh, yeah. They'll kill them. Yeah.
Really? Well, I did not know that.
They're very aggressive. They become very attached to their flock.
How does the donkey kill them? With their feet? How do they do it?
They'll stomp them to death. They'll grab them with their mouth. They'll circles. They'll ravage them. Yeah, they're very protective of sheep and goats.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that happen?
Yeah, I have.
Oh my goodness.
And as a matter of fact, I have Jack Russell Terriers, and the one day my Jack Russell decided that she was going to go in the pasture, and I had all I could do to get her out of there before he got a hold of her.
Thanks, Carl.
She wasn't going to hurt anything.
Wow, that's something. You must be a gun owner. You live in a place like that. You must be a gun owner.
Oh, yeah.
What do you have? 30-30, 12 gauge? What do you got? There's the rooster.
30-30s. We've got it all. You name it. The only thing we don't have is a handgun. But we've got all kinds of long rifles.
I bet they're all loaded too, right? They're all loaded?
No, we don't keep them loaded.
Really? You don't keep them loaded? But gun's no good if it's not loaded. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. All right, take care. Oh, man. I like the 12 gauge because you're not supposed to do this, okay? But a 12 gauge is great for home protection because when you cock it, that sound, they'll run right out the window. If someone's in your house and they hear that, they'll be gone. But you're not supposed to do that because you're spitting out a shell when you do that, you know. But I think I would rather do it once and then have them run out than have to use it, right? All right, listen, we'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh, my goodness. I did not know that donkeys were protection animals. My guns are loaded in the house. They're all loaded. That's right. They don't do you any good if they're not loaded. Oh, that was a great call. The guy that called about the 5 guys he said I had sex with, that was a beautiful call. I wish I had that on tape. I'd play it for you. He was caught off guard with that one. He thought I'd hang up on him. Once, years ago, long before I was married, I was at another radio station, and I was guest hosting. I was hosting, there was a host that did a dating show, and they were off. And I filled in for them. It was on the weekends, and people would call in that were looking for dates, men and women. The show was called Dateless and Desperate, and a girl called in looking for a date that I went out with, and she had no idea it was me. She had no idea it was me. Oh yeah, that was beautiful. That call was beautiful. That was an awesome call. That guy was caught so off guard. Anybody else would have hung up on him. I've had other people pull stunts like different variations of such things. It's bizarre. Oh, even at the level I'm at, it's awful. I cannot imagine when you're at the level that like Trump is at and stuff. Even at my little lowly level, people are nuts.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. You know, it's Friday. That means it's the weekend. What are you guys doing over the weekend? You know what I'm doing? I'm prepping my house to paint it. And it's probably going to take me, you know, I'm going to take my time, but I'm going to, this weekend, I'm going to pressure clean my house. And then if I'm finished, got to pressure clean before you paint. And then if I finish that over the weekend, then I'm going to start, start taping off some of the windows and the things for the hurricane shutters and all of that stuff. And then, you know, in a week or two, I'm going to start painting the house. And this is, you know, is a courtesy that I'm allowed to do because of the great work that Dr. Philip Appleton, my chiropractor, did. You know, ridding me of pain is allowing me to paint my house. You know how much it costs to hire someone to paint the house? more than I could afford. That's why my house is in such bad need of being painted. But between ridding me of my arthritis, which was in my right hand so I can hold all this stuff, my shoulder pain, which my right shoulder so I can hold everything in my right arm, and the knee pain. The knee pain he rid me of, Dr. Appleton, I was not able to get up on the ladders and do all this stuff. And since I am pain-free because of his laser away pain treatment, which is completely painless, there's no surgery, no drugs, no injections, it's amazing. I'm able to paint my own house, which is a great thing to be able to do. Now, Dr. Appleton, he's a chiropractic physician. He treats all kinds of pain, not just the ones I was suffering from. And by the way, none of the pains he's treated me for have returned. My knee pain, gone. And it's been a year. So no matter what kind of pain you're suffering from, call Dr. Appleton. He'll help you. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. He's open on Saturdays, too. You can find him online at AppletonChiro.com. AppletonChiro.com. Or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. All right? Okay, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from Sanford.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. I wish the best for Steve, for his family and his health, and everything turns out for the best.
Well, I'm not going to give the specifics, okay? But I'll tell more than I probably should tell. But this was an amazing thing that happened. Steve, he's had this bad cold. He went to the doctor at the beginning of the week, and someone in his family took him to the doctor for the cold, and the doctor noticed something about the family member just from them sitting there in the waiting room with Steve. Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Steve's got a good doctor to pick up on something like that. But I'm not going to. I probably shouldn't have even told that much.
Here's what I want to ask you, because you follow Trump. I do, but not as much as you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why they keep calling. The talking points must be Trump's a liar. But what lies are he telling? I don't know.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Liberals, and sometimes you'll hear it with callers, liberals confuse being mistaken with lying. Liberals confuse disagreeing with them as being a lie. You understand what I mean? And so far as lies and being mistaken, it is up to you as the journalist. Like, I'll give you an example, okay? This was not a lie, but Jeff from Maine called in the first hour of the show, and he was talking about Caitlin Collins, and he had some inaccurate information that he heard somewhere. He said this is her. She said she just graduated at college. This is her first job out of college and everything else. And he, Jeff's not a liar. He's a good guy, right? Jeff from Maine. He calls all the time. He's a great caller. And I said none of that's. And I said none of that's true, Jeff. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. When you're in these types of jobs, you got to know everything. You got to know. I know Caitlin Collins' biography because I need to know it. You've got to be informed. And Caitlin Collins, she's just not informed. If Trump's lying, it is up to them to call out the lie and expose it. What's the point of doing the interview?
Do you think Trump should challenge Caitlin or somebody and ask him, what are you referring to?
They're never going to have him back on CNN. He'll never be back.
Say, what are you talking about?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Okay, last call of the show yesterday was that. Remember that? Were you listening to yesterday's show?
Most of it, yes, but I missed the second half.
Really? Shame on you. Well, listen, you can go. Shame on you. You missed the whole second half of the show?
Yes.
What's wrong with you?
To the doctor.
You couldn't listen while you were getting ready for the doctor?
No, I had to shower and shave and
You can't hear in the shower and shave. Anyway, If you go to our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com, the whole show is archived up there as a podcast every day. Mike, our board op, he uploads the show about it, and by the way, he puts timestamps on everything too. If you go there, and you can hear this. A lady called in at the end of the show yesterday and said that President Trump is having multiple affairs right now behind President Trump's back. Right? Just lied. She just made that up and lied. I had her on the phone for a good 5 minutes, and I exposed her. That's my job. When you have someone, when you're in these positions and you have someone who's telling you lies or giving you incorrect information, you're supposed to know these things or you shouldn't have the job. Right? So Caitlin Collins, Trump did, even if Trump was lying, and he wasn't, but even if he was lying, so what? If she's on television, on CNN, she needs to be able to handle and correct the record like I have to. These calls are screenless. I don't know who's on hold or what they're going to bring up. I am expected to know enough about whatever someone brings up randomly on the phones to handle it. And if I can't, well, I'm not doing the job.
Well, you're doing a great job, especially your commentary on the CNN the day after. And
oh yeah. Even though you missed half of it.
Enjoy it. You do a great job.
Even though you missed half of it yesterday. Shame on you. Shame on you. This show's 3 hours, man.
You can talk to all these people that I say good morning to almost at 6 o'clock every morning.
Well, that's good. Listen, I gotta run. Take care. He's in Sanford, Florida. We'll give him a break. He's in the same town as George Zimmerman. Okay, so we'll give him a little bit. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. But listen, if you go to our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com, if you do miss a part of the show, you can always catch it there. Mike uploads them every day about an hour after we go off the air, and they're archived up there forever. trueoldiesfla.com. trueoldiesfla.com. All right, we'll take our break, come back with your calls and the new Trump ad right after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Major expressways are still crash-free. We're now seeing the usual delay on 95 and North Palm Beach, Beach in Boca. Also 95 North and southbound passing Lakewood Road, same from the Turnpike. We do have a multi-vehicle crash involving a school bus on Southern Boulevard, just north of Australian Avenue. Crash on Clinton Road and Lyons Road. Also on 995 Lake southbound up to 6th Avenue South. There is a crash off to the right shoulder. We also have an incident on Lyons Road to Hyperluxo, Purdy Lane, and Sherwood Forest Boulevard. This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida. Shoppers lead your local sweet corn farmer, letting you know that Florida's sweet corn is in season. Ask for Fresh from Florida. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo. Follow freshfromflorida.com and happy eating from the Florida Department of Agriculture. That's traffic from Chris Barr.
Traffic is service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out this Friday for dinner at a show with the hilarious Jimmy Schubert live in the Paddock Restaurant at PBKC. Jimmy is a last comic standing finalist, actor, and comedian that you absolutely need to see live. This Sunday, treat mom to a special day in the Paddock for our delicious Mother's Day brunch buffet with live music and Hoffman's treats for mom. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Uh-oh, I'm coming down with something. But did you ever think you might not be sick, you might have an allergy? Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now of Coral Springs or any lab test now of Boca. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Bramblewood.
silly to the sublime. We take a comprehensive look ahead at the summer of country music, and Legally Blonde the musical comes to the Grammy Center. Read these and other stories in Florida Weekly. Available throughout Palm Beach County.
Oh, boy. Great calls today, by the way. Great calls.
Awe-inspiring landscapes and traverse the great Canadian Rocky Mountains on the Rocky Mountaineer Train with bi-level glass dome coaches, August 15th through the 20th. The only passenger rail service that runs the historic rail route connecting Canada from east to west. Are you ready to embark on this unforgettable journey? Head to briantrain.com and request a brochure. Book your spot now and make memories that will last a lifetime. That's briantrain.com and request your brochure.
One more commercial after this, and then we'll be back. Ooh. The scooters, awesome. Both scooters are awesome. I still, I still have the Mega Scooter 1, the original. I've not sold it or given it away yet. I was talking on the podcast about the weirdos that were calling me for the scooter. I don't know if I talked about that on the radio. I talk so much, I can't remember what I said when and where. Here, the podcast, talking to you during the commercial break, on the air. I just lose track. This is a Florida shirt. These are Florida oranges. Nothing's better than a Florida orange. The place never called me back that takes the donation of motorcycles and scooters. It costs too much to ship it to where you live, D. It would cost you more than it's worth. Well, maybe not more than it's worth, but certainly maybe equal. The original one, not the new one. All right, we are back. Calls on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It is always open phones on Fridays. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lisa from Pompano.
Hey, Lisa in Pompano. What's up? Speak closer to the phone. You're on a speaker, so speak closer. There you go.
Yeah. So, one question. Well, no question. I just want to let you know, my husband and I, we saw Barry Siegel. Perfect. You're gonna love the building when you see it. He took care of all of our needs. I mean, everything, and we don't have a lot of stuff to, but in case we're passing, whatever. The whole group is perfect.
That's awesome. Well, the less you have, the more you need, Barry, because you got less to put through probate.
Right. So that was, anyway.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And so I have a question. Why can't Trump go after people that are defaming him, like the people on The View,
Well, you really, it's when it comes to slander, it's very difficult to slander a public person. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's really only one thing you can say about a public person that can get you in trouble. When somebody's a public person, they're fair game.
All right, because I can't understand why they're, okay, that's what I didn't know, and that was my thing, because I don't understand why the people, not that I watch The View, but I see the clips, and then I just think, it's all right, Trump can take care of himself, I know that, but...
It's just, listen, it's just what it is. There's somebody that's on another radio station in this market who pulled some stunt with me. Trying to cause problems in my marriage. I mean, people, whenever you're a public person, people say and do terrible, terrible things.
That's the open game, right?
Yeah.
Stephen.
Yeah, Steve and I, have, people, there are people that pretend to be Steve and do things online. Steve doesn't even use the internet. I mean, people, it's just what it is. It's something you get used to, And I love this talking point they have. A jury of his peers. Really, a bunch of New York liberal jerks. That's a jury of Trump's peers. Are you kidding me?
And I hope Steve is doing well and all that. And you have a great podcast. You're doing, I don't have to tell you how great you are, but anyways, I enjoy your show, and I just can't, but now I get it. I get what you're saying.
All right, take care. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, take care. I didn't want to interrupt the compliments. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Wanted to just a quick thing on the southern border, the National Guard. A little discussion heard earlier. They can definitely be deployed down there. They just can't legally, like you were saying, they can't interdict, but they can do all the logistical help, medical, food.
Well, I think there's a lot of, listen, we don't want another Kent State, Even though those students at Kent State attacked the National Guardsmen, they attacked those National Guardsmen at Kent State. That's left out of the history books. But, sending law enforcement or the National Guard down there by a governor is a powder keg. It's asking for trouble. Even if you gave them rifles that have no bullets, it's.
My point being is that they don't do any interdiction. They don't even go. They're like back off the border. They just handle driving them around. But my further point was going to be this: it doesn't matter because Biden wants them to come in. They want all these people to come into our country. They want this, so it doesn't matter. We could all go down the border and then they'd probably arrest American citizens for trying to get in the way while they're trying to overflow our country with people who can't speak. Listen, like the lady said, Texas, they don't speak English. They don't know how to do anything. They're going to be nothing but a burden when they get here. They're going to need food stamps, housing, medical care, dental, clothing. So why would our federal government want to bring all these people in to our country that are going to be dependent on the government?
I had when many years ago, I had a job offer at a radio station in London, England. You can imagine, pretty cool thing, huh? And this was before I was married, so it was pretty exciting. And somebody that ran a radio station over there, they heard me and heard of me, and they offered me. They couldn't hire me because the labor laws for foreigners going to the UK were so crazy. I remember they had to advertise the job for 3 years and not be able to find a qualified candidate before they could even offer me the job. And then this and that and all these things. And it was okay. I got it. I understand. It's another country. I'm not entitled to go there and set up a life.
It's the exact opposite here, Brian. They'll give the foreigner the job.
Well, no, it's like I said. My daughter went to get an apartment. She couldn't sign the lease because she didn't have a California driver's license. She had a Florida driver's license still. She didn't have the proper documents. Do you think these people can get an apartment in Los Angeles without documents?
You do everything.
Well, why does my American daughter, why is she being told? This is true, guys. I'm not making this up. That sounds crazy. But, she had to, they said she didn't have the right documents, right? That's what they're saying. You need a California driver's license.
The federal government gets, at least from the Democrats' point of view, it's the greatest form of control is dependency. And the more people they get in here on the government teat, the more votes they believe they're going to get, even if they're not U.S. citizens.
See, listen, here's the deal. Biden is a crook. Go and get Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell. I would recommend the audio version. And what happened with Joe is this is what happened with. By the way, JJ, thanks for the call. I got a little echo in the background, so call us on hold. Stand by. This is in Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell. Get the audio book. It's very good. Joe Biden had a plan. His son Beau was going to take his spot in the Senate and continue the family crime business. Sadly, Beau died. His other kids are drug-addicted bums and are unelectable. So the family spent all the, look at this press conference. They got like 12, minimum 12, even some of the grandkids are involved in the crime operation, right? They've blown all the money because they have such a large corrupt family. So Joe, the reason he ran for president was because the family blew all the money. Bo was dead. So he had this one last shot. So he made a deal with these evildoers, and they're setting up his family for the rest of their lives with his presidency. Okay? So what's going on at the southern border is happening for a variety of reasons, but the main reason is we've got a president who's the most corrupt man to ever be president of the United States, who's doing it for the money. So, because his scummy bum of a family, and I don't mean just the immediate family, I'm talking about the brother and his family, the sister and her family, Bo's widow, all of them are corrupt. Corrupt. It's a crime family. It's the Sopranos. Jill Biden isn't the first lady, she's a mob wife. And all this is happening because they're getting paid. Oops, sorry, hit the wrong button here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, it's Al.
Oh.
Caitlin Collins used to work for Tucker Carlson back in 2015.
That's correct.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, what that means is...
Yeah, she was right out of college working basically as an intern.
Yeah. Well, was that...
But I'll tell you what, maybe she worked there in 2015. That means if that was the only job she ever had, her employment history would be much more recent than yours.
Listen, how did I afford living in D.C. and all that, all these years? Please, don't...
D.C.? What do you mean D.C.?
Washington, D.C., you know darn well I was living up there for over 2 years.
Yeah, listen, D.C. is filled with a lot of bums that don't work. Yeah.
Apartment? Okay.
Okay, we're impressed. $2,000 apartment? You mean $2,000 for the whole apartment, or was that the monthly rent?
The monthly rent was $3,000.
Oh, now it's $3,000. What, a second ago, you said it was $2,000. Now it was $3,000.
Well, you get something on DuPont Circle for two. Not possible. Not too bad.
Whatever. We're all impressed. You know, first off, you're a damn liar, because when you were calling in and said you were in D.C., I told you to go and get a copy of the Washington Post or the Washington Times and take a photograph holding today's paper, and you sent me a photograph of a Photoshop, the worst Photoshop I've ever seen of a newspaper. You didn't do it. I asked you for the proof of life photograph with a newspaper, and you never did it. So, you know.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You sent a fake Photoshop. Oh, my gosh. There were no fingers. There were no fingers in that. No, it was a newspaper, and it was Photoshopped. Where do you live now? What fancy digs do you live in now?
No, right now I'm in Boynton, but I'm going to be out in Sarasota soon.
Oh.
Listen.
Yeah.
Let me say something to you. The Presidential Records Act doesn't allow Trump to keep the papers forever.
Listen, Al, goodbye. I got a break, but I want to say this. When President Trump returned home to Mar-a-Lago, he was still in his first term. I was one of the last people to see him in his first term. I saw him his last 15, 20 minutes before the inauguration. When he came back to Florida on Air Force One, he was president still. He could take whatever the hell he wanted, including the Area 51 secrets if he felt like it. Okay? And they were locked up in Mar-a-Lago. They were locked up where the feds told him to lock them, with a lock that they gave him, if you remember. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on
All right, and William Youngman will be back with us next week, but this is the amateur gold report, which means I go to williamyoungerman.com and read the numbers there. But the metals are looking hot. I mean, gold right now is at $2,015.90. That's huge, guys. We've stayed over that 2,000 mark for a long, long time. That's huge. That's huge. Up 30 cents. Silver is at 24.07, down 19 cents. Platinum at 1,094, down $8, and palladium is down $4 at 15.88. These are all great prices. I mean, you really want to get. You know, I talked to William Youngerman a lot about fractional gold. You know, the gold coins come in sizes smaller than an ounce. They come in half ounce, quarter ounce, and even 1/10 ounce. And these are coins that are put out by the major mints, like the American Mint and other countries. And they're beautiful coins. And, you know, and silver, of course, is affordable. There is gold and silver in everyone's budget. And, you know, you get those 10th ounce coins, 10th ounce of gold, you get 10 of them, you got an ounce of gold. It's a great deal. And at William Youngerman's, you're going to get more metal than your money, for your money than these other places, okay? You know, these places you see online and on TV, they add so many charges on top of the price of the metal. You're paying so much more than you'll pay at William Youngerman's. Now, no matter where you're located, William Youngerman can help you. You can do all your business over the phone, both buying and selling of the metals. And hey, this is the last weekday before Mother's Day. You know, if you go over to William Youngerman's in person, he has great deals on all kinds of jewelry that is just about the metal prices. You'll get beautiful jewelry far beyond what you may even be able to normally afford, because his prices are so good. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online, williamyoungerman.com, or give him a call, toll-free, 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010. We'll be right back.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by, and I will in this segment play President Trump's new commercial. I'm sorry I have not gotten to it yet, but it's been very busy, but we'll get it before the end of the show. Before I go back to the phones, though, I want to tell you about the Steve Kane Show dentist, and that's Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. You know, he's been our dentist for a long time here on the program. His prices are fantastically low. I mean, so affordable. And he does great work. You guys know Richie the bus driver? Richie the bus driver lives in Hobe Sound, Florida, which is pretty far north of where I'm at right now. And Dr. Gupta's in Broward County. And Richie the bus driver drives, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 counties north of Dr. Gupta, if you include Broward, to see Dr. Gupta, because he's so good. And his prices are so low as well on all of his dental work. You know, finding an honest dentist that doesn't overcharge you, a lot of people think that's impossible. It's not. We found Dr. Gupta. You can find him online, Dr. Gupta, at brightondentalcare.com, brightondentalcare.com, or give him a call, 954-922-4633. Saturday appointments are available with Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. Make sure you tell him you heard about him on the radio. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tampa Bay.
Hey.
Hey, man, so now we got 3,000 troops on the border. We already had 500, put 2,500 more in admin positions. And Kent State, fools burned down a National Guard building on the campus the day before. And, of course, I'm going to shoot somebody who throws rocks at me when I got...
Well, at Kent State, you're right. They burnt down, the students burned down a building the day before, but...
When we went in to protect Army property...
wait a minute. You were at Kent State?
No, I was a child when it happened, but
you said we.
I know.
You said we.
Army. I'm always Army.
So you were how old were you during Kent State?
Well, so I don't know, teenager.
You were a teenager, so you weren't there, but you said we. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, what a weird. You know, the thing with Kent State that's left out, it was a tragedy. Don't misunderstand me. However, the students were physically attacking those guardsmen at the time. They were throwing rocks. They were throwing sharp objects like pens and pencils and anything they could find. They had attacked the National Guardsmen. And I'll tell
To a culvert, and finally they.
And what happened after that led to the Iranian hostage situation under Jimmy Carter. And what happened there is those National Guardmen were armed, they were attacked, and they fired in self-defense from the mob of leftist students that were attacking them. And that's why, because of Kent State, Jimmy Carter would not allow the Marines at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran to have ammunition in their weapons or on their person.
Texas? I mean, are we going to have a repeat of that situation in Texas with these 3,000 troops on the borders?
Well, they're unarmed. The soldiers that Biden sent to the southern border are armed. I know. You love throwing out. You're one of these weird guys. Okay, and I know you're a veteran. I know you were in the service and 100 years ago, but you like to call. When were you in the service?
The killing fields, Brian.
What in 1970? What was that? 78? What was that?
No, 76, 70.
76, 77. Okay. So in 1977, you were in the Army for how long?
Yeah, the war that didn't happen.
How long? 3 years. 3 years. Okay, and you like to, and what you see, he doesn't want me to say. You like to call in and throw out fancy military terms and stuff all the time, and it gets you all excited. Like, oh, I don't know how many times.
I listen all the time. I was a 54 Echo, but even you don't even know what that is. So
I was not. I served in the military for the same amount of time as President Trump, President Obama, and President Clinton. So I don't know. See what he did? He threw out another military term.
Assistant Secretary of Defense.
Oh my gosh, your grandfather was the assistant.
The tanker. And
so what? So what does that mean?
That means what it is.
What does your grandfather and nephew have to do with all this stuff? Why do you know?
That we're citizen soldiers. Our country is made up of citizen soldiery.
Yeah.
Now we got 3,000 more of us on our border, trying to protect the border that Biden stopped.
But this is you and I have had this discussion before. So you got out of the Army in 1970, what, 8, 9? So I want you to think about this, okay? The Steve Kane Show was the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. You got out of the service after 3 years, the year after the Steve Kane Show debuted on the radio in Florida, the longest running radio show. Star Wars was still in theater, right, in 1978. I saw another Army reference, I know. I saw Star Wars in the theater too. I was just much younger than you. So, you did 3 years in the service, got out in 78, and you have and you go back a long time, okay? You've been, I know you've been going. You have been milking veterans benefits for like 45 years. Oh, please.
My VA benefits and
how many times have you used Oh, now he's throwing out. He ran into a family member of mine at a veterans thing. Okay. Oh, I told you. Okay. You have used veterans benefits to pay for all this schooling and everything else. I mean, it's amazing how much you could milk the veterans benefits.
Use what I'm entitled to use.
I understand. A few years ago, there was a story. There were a couple of women who were getting veterans benefits from veterans of the Spanish-American War still. It was shocking. Yeah, I don't, you know, they married these Spanish-American War veterans when they were very young and they were very old. And yeah, they married these 100-year-old guys, and these widows were like 101, and their yeah, I know. All right, take care. All right. Oh boy, yeah. I've told Mike who that is. That's that guy there. He's the guy that was our board op during the hurricane that drank all the beer, right? When we had a hurricane coming. This goes way back. This was Hurricane Andrew, and and Steve brought his whole family to the radio station. I was there. Al Knight was there, who does weekends here on this radio station. And Steve had loaded up the radio station refrigerator with more beer than I've ever seen in one place outside of a store. And that guy on the phone there, before the hurricane hit, drank all the beer. Steve went for a beer, and it was all gone. And I mean, that guy, he could drink. That guy right there on the phone. So I know you think I'm giving him a hard time. We have some history, and he's a strange cat. I'm not going to tell you anything else I know about him on the air. But if you run into me off the air and you ask me, and I'll maybe I'll tell you some other stuff. But that's the guy. He's the board op that drank all the beer at the radio station before the hurricane even hit. Oh my goodness, that one was that. Our hurricane coverage during Hurricane Andrew was so horrendous that they wrote an article about us in the South Florida Sun Sentinel. They had this article in the this was really bad. Hurricane Andrew was a pretty bad hurricane. Were any of you here for that? And when the hurricane hit, we were on the air all night, overnight, all night long. It was me and Steve and Al Knight and that guy, Rick Siderman. Remember Rick Siderman? And I told Steve, I said, you know, the hurricane's hitting. Some of these spots we shouldn't run during the hurricane. Steve said, no, run the spots. I said, okay. So there was all the TV stations in Miami, because of Hurricane Andrew, got knocked off the air except one. It was the one that Brian Norcross was on. And Brian Norcross, who's an old weather guy here from South Florida and very famous, and he's a good guy. I'd met him a few times. He's a friend of a friend of mine. And they did, and he had like the best hurricane coverage in the history of South Florida hurricanes. They were giving him he was even in an episode of The Golden Girls on NBC television because of his hurricane stuff. And they had this article in the Sun Sentinel about Brian Norcross and the great hero of Hurricane Andrew. And then they said, if Brian Norcross was the prime example of great hurricane coverage, Steve Kane and his crew of misfits at WFTL were the exact opposite. And I remember this, they said while Hurricane Andrew was crossing South Florida, Steve Kane and his crew of misfits were running commercials for hurricane shutters and funeral homes. I remember that, right in the Sun Sentinel. You might be able to find that article. Search on Google, Steve Kane, Hurricane Andrew, Sun Sentinel. You might be able to find that article. It was not funny at the time. It was not funny at the time. It was a little embarrassing, but hey, we did it and we got through it, and it was a fun night that we still remember and tell stories about till this day. All right, so you know, whatever. That's life. We cover hurricanes much better now than we did back during Hurricane Andrew. We learned from that. Now, Steve was doing spots for Levitt Weinstein Memorial Chapels and hurricane shutters for your home during the hurricane. I said, Steve, I don't know. He was like, no, people pay for those spots. Those were the days. All right, if you're on hold, we are out of time. If you'd like, you can hold on through the weekend, and you'll be at the front of the line on Monday morning. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. God bless Donald Trump. See you Monday.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
Oh, my goodness. So the reason I give that guy a hard time is because, well, maybe he won't call me again. All right, guys, take care.